From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, April 13th. Today, we have severe weather headed our way. The Storm Track 8 team has been watching this system as it makes its way across the country. Marcus Bailey is joining me right now. And Marcus, we've seen this system already wreak havoc in other parts of the country, and we're going to get hit later today.
Dating back since Monday, essentially, there's been several tornadoes on Monday, Tuesday, into the Central Plains, Southern Plains as well. And now our turn. There's a very wide swath of the country that basically Memphis, Tennessee is right in the middle of, but we're on the northern edge here in central Indiana, where several thunderstorms probably could turn severe. The time frame is kind of in a 4 p.m. to midnight time frame here for this afternoon, this evening. I think the way it plays out is kind of a long line of very strong storms. Damaging wind is going to be the primary concern. I think there's enough juice in the atmosphere. You could get wind gusts exceeding 75 miles per hour. That's significant. And then also in that line, you could have some embedded tornadoes that could be long-lived. So a couple of fronts that we'll be watching, but again, be aware of that time frame, specifically from dinner time on through midnight. I do think once we get past midnight, we'll quiet things down.
So we've heard warnings from emergency preparedness organizations saying anyone who might live in a mobile home, high-profile vehicles, that sort of thing, really need to be careful during these winds.
Right. Well, I mean, look, anytime you're talking, severe thunderstorm wind gust criteria is close to 60 miles per hour. You get to that number, that's when you end up getting a severe thunderstorm warning. So with the wording and what we're kind of seeing in terms of what could play out, if you're exceeding 75 miles per hour, that's as violent as maybe a weaker tornado, but it could be kind of a larger swath, so it could be worse off than a tornado. Mobile home is never a good place to be. Your vehicle is never a good place to be, whether it be a severe thunderstorm warning or whether it be a tornado warning. It's something that you'll want to drive home because this is the beginning of severe weather season here for us in central Indiana. So this is kind of our first event and something you need to be aware of as we kind of gear up for the evening.
And while I have you, I check the Wish TV weather app every morning when I wake up, and I have this general explanation to people. You can pinpoint exactly what's happening in your area. But with you here, explain exactly what you can find. There's a live interactive radar, all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think probably the most helpful tool and what we always drive home is have a way to get warnings. We always say weather radio is best, but weather apps are great. And ours is free. And it's helpful because it is based on your location. There's a lot of people that live in Indianapolis that work in Indianapolis that don't live in Indianapolis. Right? I'm one of those. I commute to a county outside of Indy, and many other people are very much like that as well. So if there's a thunderstorm warning for Marion County, that's different than maybe if you live up in Carmel and you're in Hamilton County, or Fishers, or if you live in Zionsville and you're in Boone County. So it will track where you are at. We're also into the season now where there's a lot of games going on and you're traveling with your kids and you're in a different county as well. So you don't have to worry about trying to put in multiple locations. Storm Track 8 weather app already does that for you. So if you're out and about tonight, it is going to know where you are at. And if there is a severe weather warning, whether it be a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, it will alert you based on your location, which is a very beneficial tool in events like this.
Okay, on a much lighter note,
Yes.
I've been wanting to ask you about this all morning long. You have a Band-Aid on your finger.
I do.
And I was like, is that a new ring he got?
No.
So it's this blue Band-Aid with clearly cartoon characters
Minions.
on it. It's Minions. I didn't know what it was.
I was out playing golf for the first time yesterday. I overdid it, and now I have blisters on my fingers. And of course, with being a parent of 3 kids, we don't have any normal Band-Aids on there. So Minions was the best I could do. It was that or Belle. So I figured on TV, the blue one would play a little better than pink. So.
Sure. All right. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Kylie.
Okay, in other news today, bird flu hits another Indiana farm. The State Board of Animal Health confirms it's a flock of 6,000 ducks in Elkhart County. It's the second operation in that county. Several turkey farms in southern Indiana also had outbreaks, leading to massive kills of the animals to prevent further spread. The turkey cases were in Du Bois and Greene counties. In all, the count of affected birds is 171,000 turkeys and 10,000 ducks. Purdue University commits to change this morning with the support of a police officer and student at the center of a controversial arrest video. As we told you about here on the podcast yesterday, also on Wish TV, a special prosecutor ruled that Officer John Selk was well within the boundaries of the law when he arrested Adonis Tuggle. No charges were filed against either. The pair issued a joint statement with Purdue. In it, Officer Selk apologized for his actions and says he spoke privately with Tuggle and his mother. Tuggle said he is grateful to have met with Selk and is committed to a positive path forward for students and university police. Purdue announced it will implement new guidelines for students and police. They include a reminder to students to respect the requests of officers, an immediate review of Purdue Police's use of force and de-escalation training program. Officer Selk will also be temporarily reassigned to administrative duty, and a commitment by Purdue Police to recruit a more diverse police service. And police in Indianapolis are trying to figure out where a shooting happened. The victim turned up on Mass Ave. Someone called police to the Bottle Works area yesterday afternoon, where the person was in critical condition. Police tell us they think the shooting happened somewhere else, but don't know yet. They're also not releasing any information about the victim. And police in Fishers tell IT-Mate that a bank robbery arrest this week may solve several heists over the last year and a half. They also say the man accused wrote a mournful note for the teller. 25-year-old Richard Gammon Jr. is under arrest. Investigators say he admits he robbed a PNC branch on 96th near I-69 Monday morning. IT-Mate reports the FBI followed the getaway car to an apartment in Castleton, where officers found clothes and cash from the robbery in the fireplace. Information from court filings shows federal agents had been watching Gammon since a March robbery. They now connect him to at least 4 between December of 2020 and this week, all on the north and northeast sides. Police say Gammon told detectives that he wrote a note for the bank teller reading, "To my victim, I'm truly sorry from the bottom of my heart for scaring you with my stupidity." Police also say Gammon told them he got the idea for the crime from YouTube and flushed the money he stole down the toilet at his apartment. He's charged with robbery and theft. And this morning, we're hearing from survivors after a gunman opened fire on a subway train in Brooklyn. The attack left 10 people wounded. It's a story we first brought you as breaking news yesterday on Daybreak on Wish TV. Police are now searching for a person of interest. They say his name is Frank James. Investigators stress they do not know if he is responsible for the shooting, but authorities say they are looking at social media videos where James calls the U.S. a racist, violent place. Police say the shooter left behind a gun, a hatchet, detonated and undetonated smoke grenades, and a key to a U-Haul van. That key led investigators to James. Police found the van near a subway station where investigators think the gunman entered the train system. Survivors of the shooting say they couldn't see anything but black smoke when it happened.
All I see was just black smoke, and that's when I got hit. I didn't think, it was serious until I got off the train. I put my pants down, and the size of a quarter just gushing out blood. I was shocked. I'm still shocked there, man. I'm shaking. I don't even know how I'm holding my phone.
Officials say 29 people are being treated at hospitals for gunshot wounds, smoke inhalation, and other conditions. In the war in Ukraine, President Biden is, for the first time, using the word genocide to describe Russia's actions.
I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian. And the evidence is mounting. It's different than it was last week. The more evidence is coming out of literally the horrible things that the Russians have done in Ukraine. And we're going to only learn more and more about the devastation. And we'll let the lawyers decide internationally whether or not it qualifies, but it sure seems that way to me.
The president of Ukraine has also called it genocide. Volodymyr Zelensky thanked President Biden for his comments, calling them true words of a true leader. And President Biden first referenced genocide while he was in Iowa talking about high gas prices as a result of the war. During his trip, he announced he's suspending federal rules that restrict ethanol blending. It's part of a White House plan to fight inflation and lower prices at the pump. Right now, most gasoline in the United States is 10% ethanol. The change would allow the sale of blends up to 15% ethanol.
E15 is about 10 cents a gallon cheaper than E10. And some gas stations offer an even bigger discount than that. But with this waiver, on June 1, you're not going to show up at your local gas station and see a bag over the pump that has the cheapest gas.
The sale of E15 gasoline is usually prohibited between June and mid-September due to air quality concerns. Some lawmakers want an investigation of an NFL team. The House Oversight and Reform Committee says it found a pattern of concerning business practices within the Washington Commanders organization. The panel sent a letter to the Federal Trade Commission asking for further examination. The committee says the team owner, Daniel Snyder, may have broken financial laws. Through a spokesperson, the team denies the claims and promises to cooperate. A history-making moment in the MLB during the Padres-Giants game. Giants first base coach Antoine Richardson was ejected after the top of the third. His ejection opened the door for Alyssa Naken to become the first female on-field coach in league history. The 31-year-old assistant coach received a warm ovation from the crowd, including receiving a handshake from Padres first baseman Eric Hosmer. Butler University is welcoming its second new head basketball coach in 1 week. The school officially introduced Austin Parkinson as the Bulldogs women's basketball head coach yesterday. Just last week, Thad Matta rejoined the school to lead the men's team. Parkinson spent the last 12 seasons leading the IUPUI women's program. He led the Jaguars to their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Butler women's basketball hasn't made an NCAA tournament appearance since 1996. Krispy Kreme is tying donuts to gas prices. The chain says every Wednesday through May 4th, a dozen of its original glazed donuts will cost whatever the national average is for a gallon of gas. Today, that's $4.11. The usual price is $7.99. And finally, one of entertainment's truly unique voices is silent. Gilbert Gottfried has died. He was best known for his stand-up comedy, proudly edgy and always loud with his distinctive delivery. You may remember him for appearances on Wish TV, on Daybreak, and the predecessor to Lifestyle Live. His death marks a sad full closure for a selfie that Gottfried posted in January as he mourned his longtime friends Bob Saget and Louis Anderson. It's a selfie of him and the two other comedians who also died this year. Gilbert Gottfried was 67. His family says he'd been ill for some time. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.